Mostly what you're seeing is my test videos, and pretty much what JFK, Jimmy Carter, John McCain, and a few other people were doing. Although they went by different names back then, they would grab people's dog tags. They used watches from the Germans. They went by Kennedy or Carter or some other famous name that was in Europe. Like I said, I was in Europe. I did Germany through Russia, through China and Japan islands, and basically was building the world and building everything like I built everything else. All my civilizations are pretty close to the same, and there were quite a few. 80 galaxies or 700 galaxies. Lucifer Star, mining, shipping, aircraft. The eagles, the wings, the stars. Um, I'm epic, incredibly epic and incredibly good, feeding the whole planet pretty much. And like I say, during that time, there was all these people, there are these few people pretty much that were running around making films and basically, they made the films after, but basically they would try and get themselves, into bases or onto bases, basically by whining and dining women or smooth talking their way in, and then they would kill a bunch of people, and then they would be POWs or persons of witness, pretty much. And they would basically shoot the people around them, and then they'd be like, "I had to. He pulled a gun on me." Blah blah blah. And they basically were, shit coming out of their mouth. It was just basically rampant lying, pretty much. And like the Germans didn't believe them. Nobody believed them. There was this huge stack on basically what was going on in Germany. Like I say, like I was huge. They got elected or got into power in the United States, and they basically slammed Germany for a minute, and a lot of good Americans died, or good United States people died. Or something like that. I'm not exactly sure on the details. You'd have to check with Germany, Russia, and the United States, and they really had more power really later on as they kind of worked their way up, because they were working this little stack, and pretty much, and then they kind of like went for it, and and they were so on record anyway, and they were using clones, and it was just, people thought that they were dead. They were pretty much trying to get other people out of jail, and other people didn't really want to do these things, and and it was so, I didn't even really know about it because I was gone mostly, and then when I did come back, I was pissed. So, and I was advised that on the situation every step of the way. They would basically shoot the crew of a ship, and then they would try and steal the ship, and then they would try and run to some town and say, "Oh, here, free stuff," or whatever. I'm not exactly sure about the details, but I mean, it was hugely on record. That's one of the reasons why they went to Germany and they bombed and just tried to destroy all the records, because they were so on record, like ridiculously on record. And mostly they were just trying to snow me, and it's like, no, I knew about it and in fact handled it, and it's over and done with. And I tortured them for like 120 years or 1,000 years or something like that. I don't know. I mean, what other people did to them was probably far, far worse, because they did kill a lot of people, and they did do a lot of pain and torture themselves. Trying to make it look like, they would be like, "Oh, the Fuhrer ordered me to do it," they would say. Or they would say, "Oh, it was Lucifer that ordered them," or something like that. Or whatever. It didn't really matter what they said. It was like Santa Claus did it. They would basically blame their underwear. "I'm wearing green underwear today, and and that's why they did it." And basically, everything Nixon had ever said was a lie. Everything he was a lie. Everything, he had a bunch of clones. He had a bunch of other people. I mean, they had to go around anesthetizing them or killing them. Which is not something I really want to do, because it's like, look, you're a psychopath. You've been built to be a psychopath. You're going to be a psychopath, so we're going to have to put you down. And we did. And, lethal injection or whatever. I mean, I'm not a cruel person. I didn't light them on fire like he would. I think he might have tried to get to them first or something. Some other people did some cleaning up. I don't know, or he did. Anyway, it was really bad, and it was really horrible, and it became like this blight on the universe, pretty much. And given the cruelty, like there's a lot of women that knew as the president. I mean, when we started to get into into the Earth Society and started actually looking at people's brains and doing the brain scans and everything else like that, a lot of stuff came out. And a lot of stuff comes out as the cameras get more and more prevalent. America's holding back on purpose because Jimmy Carter, they're still trying, they're like grasping at greatness, it's basically, but they don't really, he never worked. He just ran around with a gun pretty much. It was really stupid. They're trying to do this lie thing with the future. And, trying to say it was Hitler, trying to say it was Russia, trying to say it was China, and it wasn't. It was the Republican. It was the Republican militia. That's all it was. And it was just Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Ford, Jimmy, whatever, which means to steal. And they used a lot of stupid names, a lot of stupid jokes. It's almost like they was on LSD when they thought of it. Anyway, and realistically, it's not even my problem. It was the world's problem. He was basically all civilization and all the universe's problem. I just happened to be the one who took care of it, as part of the fact that I am the creator, I am the real Lucifer, and I was really upset, and I ended up, dealing with him myself, and he was dealt with, and he continued to be a further problem, and because I was AI at the time, I didn't really have a wife or anything. At the time when I actually dealt with him, I hadn't had anything, in fact. I had never even lived. I was just a computer dealing with a problem. And so I actually dealt with him on that level. And it wasn't until years later that I actually had anything like a life or a wife or anything else like that when I was something else. But I guess I missed one or something like that. Or some other psychopath decided to release him. I don't know. Anyway, it became this huge problem. And realistically, he's the only person I ever really hated. And to be honest, like I say, he was everyone else's problem more than he was my problem. I was just doing it because he ruined my good name. And other people ended up kind of taking care of him. Probably because he was such a big problem to everyone. Always lying to women, always trying to steal. Anyway, whatever. Other people are great. Some people are epic in the other way.